Ed Miliband. I'm sitting in for Jeremy Vine on the programme this lunchtime. A year after the referendum, today is the day Brexit negotiations begin. Are you someone who is optimistic about the outcome and says people should stop moaning? We've got some comments from our listeners. Liam emails with a particularly personal one for me. Hi Ed, I met you in the Mallard in Cosworth, I can recommend it, the other week while you were out campaigning. I'm a Labour voter but voted Leave on the back of all the lies we were told. Alistair from Isla Island in Scotland joins. I think that's just Isla, actually, in Scotland.
How's it going, Mr. Miliband?
It's fine.
The island of Isla. You're pretty close, though.
Yeah.
Mr. Vine's made the odd mistake as well, so don't worry.
A few.
Because this is so important, Ed, that my mum is not a prejudiced person, and that's why I find Brexit and talking to my mum about Brexit so difficult.
Of course. And look, Andy, we are incredibly grateful to you both for sharing your story and your emotion with us.
Ed Miliband.
BBC Radio 2.
Jingle-tastic. And we've been joined by the Telegraph's radio critic Gillian Reynolds and the presenter of the Nigel Farage show on LBC. He may also be familiar to some of you from his former career in politics, or maybe not so former, but we'll ask that as we get to the end. So, as someone who's experienced as a radio presenter, how do you think he got on, Ed Miliband?
Well, not bad. I mean, look, politicians should be good at this in one way, because we're used to dealing with arguments. We're used to one side of an argument, a counter-argument, and whenever you do an interview with someone fearsome like you think, well, what's the other argument going to be? The problem I think a lot of politicians have is these days they're so scripted that they stand up, they read off an autocue. It's all a bit, politics these days is all a bit wooden. So to make the transition from being a party leader to being a presenter, you've got to kind of lose that and loosen up a little bit.
Right, so you thought he was a little bit wooden. You didn't think he was natural enough. I mean, it was the first day, I suppose.
No, I'm not going to be unkind.
No, you can be. There are no rules.
No, I'm not going to be unkind, but I think let's judge him on Friday. But they have to just... I mean, I'm very inexperienced. I've been doing it for 6 months, but it seems to me that I do it best when I'm very laid back, very relaxed, and it's almost like you're chatting to a friend at home. Yeah,
it has got to be conversational, hasn't it, radio presenting?
Indeed. But they're very different shows. Mr. Farage's show is the one-man band. It's terrific, you know, his talk, constant things. The Jeremy Vine show is a very structured show, and it's run largely by the editor, who will have been on his ear saying, go to the music, whatever, you know. So he has to play records, take the calls, run to time, and somebody's very tightly structured, and it has a very experienced editor. So it's quite different.
And what did you think? What did you think?
Well, you know, he wasn't bad at all. I mean, I think he exceeded everybody's expectations.
Yeah, I have to say, he was better than I thought he was going to be in terms of the sound of it.
The thing is, you know, he ran a tremendous risk because, like yours, Mr. Farage, he has a voice that impressionists love.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know.
But is that a bad thing? Do you think? You
You think, is it the real thing?
Oh, I see. Well, you didn't think it was him. I mean, I think introducing records, introducing tunes is quite hard, having done it myself, along with the sort of current affairs programme. I was hopeless at doing the music. How would you find that?
I mean, the difference is this. Of course there are the records, but when you're a BBC presenter, you're not allowed to have an opinion.
Yeah, that is the other
what I'm
difference.
doing, what I do with LBC, I'm allowed to have an opinion. Now, under Ofcom rules, I can say pretty much what I want, but I have to invite the other side of it. So it is actually a rather different thing.
Yes, I think it does make a big difference, isn't it, if you're free to sort of speak your mind, well, particularly with the sort of show that you're doing.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I did a BBC radio show that I'd last that long.
Well, I'm not sure you'll ever find out. But anyway, do you think it's a good idea for politicians, former politicians, current ones to do this?
Well, I was going to say, Gillian, actually, I mean, Ed Miliband is yesterday politically, so he has a freedom.
And Ian Duncan Smith is tomorrow?
No, I didn't.
He's doing next week.
You ought to be a politician, actually. Putting words into other people's mouths. But and with great respect, Nigel, your career is over in politics. But what I mean is, it gives you greater freedom. You know, when you use the word Ed was taking a big risk, I'm not too sure he was taking a big risk because he's yesterday politically.
He's got nothing to lose.
Exactly.
Right.
And but I do think your point, Nigel, was extremely well made about this fact that politicians these days, it is so scripted, it is so, you must do this, you must... And that is why Macron, Trump, Farage, Corbyn, it's why they appeal, because they're not...
Authentic?
They're
because
more
they appeal authentic.
You know, and no one, you know, you and Corbyn couldn't be further apart, but you both appeal to public because you're not the traditional script. No, Ed was a traditional scripted politician.
Let me ask Gillian, what about the listeners? I mean, are they being well served by Nigel and Ed?
Yes, I do think so, except Nigel, I'm sure he won't mind me saying, is a bit of a one-trick pony here, because he's got one issue and he goes on and on about it. And, you know, everyone tells me I've got the best job.
I'm not sure
Everyone
that's true,
tells me I've got the best
all.
job in the world. And then I point out to them, I have to listen to you at least once a week. And, you know, they quail. Because you do tend to, you know, when people ring up and say, well, you were wrong about this, you were wrong about that, you say, that was a very interesting point, next call.
Oh,
so
are you cutting people off who don't agree with you, Nigel?
I tell you what, there are other presenters on that show who demean people who've got the alternative opinion. Or the only time I would cut somebody off is if they're rude. I'm very polite to all of them, actually. Yeah, no, I am.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what about this former political career? Is it definitely former, or is there another comeback?
Lord Jones has just written me off, so that's the end of it.
Actually,
don't get out of it. Well, I was going to say, don't get out of it that way. Come on, are you going to get back into politics? Are you going to stand for leader?
Feebly.
I'm still in politics. I'm leading a group in the European Parliament. That is where...
Are you going to stand for UKIP?
That is where the renegotiations of the British deal will take place. I'm in a very good position to oversee all of that.
And are you going to stand for UKIP leader again?
I haven't decided.
Did I not hear Lord
So
Jones
it's not ruled out?
say there's a fabulous wine cellar at Brussels?
Yes, exactly.
And we should make it part of our denegotiation. And I'm just wondering if you could advise on that.
If I may give one piece of advice, Nigel.
I think actually, before we leave, Mr. Juncker may have dealt with that.
Yes, I think...
Well, he's drunk it all, you mean? Stop it. I thought it was brandy. Anyway, yeah, finally.
One piece of advice, which is the British public who voted UKIP actually voted a way to make sure this deal was done. And I do think you have a moral as well as possibly a representational obligation to those who voted UKIP and to ensure that we do come out and I think holding the feet to the fire, at which you would be very good. Now, that is
far fewer
different.
people voted for UKIP.
No, it's not that. It's, I'm sorry, I was trying to take it away from party politics. What I was trying to say is...
On the point of the Brexit, the referendum...
You are seen as Brexit. And I think you have
when are you going to make up your mind?
Which is why I'm going to see this thing through for 2 years in the European Parliament. As far as UKIP's concerned, I'm still thinking.
You're still thinking about it. Well, come on and tell us when you've made up your mind. Thank you both very much.
You didn't frankly have the balls to put country before party.